Let's rock and roll.
Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this evening, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, my disgruntled, unhappy, sad brother, Alex. Alex, how you doing?
Well, you just described me.
I guess I just told everybody. You're all bummed out because all your teams lost.
Yeah, all my teams lost. My Super Bowl pick lost, eliminated.
Yeah?
I'll say this, though, and I texted you and Jay earlier. The team that gets out ahead early is that lead safe. I guess in the second game it proved to be.
But there were so many lead changes that the lead that they got out to in the beginning really didn't matter. It was just it was a whole new game. That fourth quarter was a game in and of itself.
Dude, that was like a half of football right there.
It was awesome. It was good stuff. Well, let's start from the beginning. Let's start with the first game of the day, and obviously we're talking about championship weekend. We finally get to see who's going to make it to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl, what are we at, 54?
53.
53, whatever. Close enough.
Close enough, right?
Same difference. Super Bowl 53.
What? Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, do you know that because I'm sure everybody already knows the Patriots and the Rams have won. They're going to be playing Super Bowl 53 exactly 17 years from when they met the first time in 02.
Oh, right.
February 3rd.
Wow.
Exactly on the same date.
That's awesome. And you also mentioned to me earlier that this is the first time ever that the World Series and the Super Bowl have the same city's participants.
Yes.
So it is Boston, LA again. And, it's kind of ironic, too, because Boston and LA are, for cities that are obviously on opposite ends of the country, they're rivals.
Yeah.
But it's from basketball. It's
right.
not from baseball or football, but obviously this will add to the legend.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's get into it. Championship weekend, we start off with the NFC Championship game, which is the first one today. The Rams had to go to New Orleans, a place where they had already been earlier this year, and they had to play the New Orleans Saints. They lost earlier this year, and it was a pretty decent game until the end. New Orleans kind of got away from them. They just exploited the secondary and really kind of put it to them. It wasn't a bad game. It went into overtime. The Rams won 26-23. It wasn't a bad game, but it was a weird kind of game because New Orleans looked like they were going to run away with it early on. They didn't.
Yeah.
And the Rams got to 26 points, and Todd Gurley was oddly out of it. He wasn't just not. It's not that he wasn't productive. He was on the sideline for long periods of time.
Think he was hurt, maybe?
I don't know.
I seen him on the bicycle on the bike.
Yeah,
once.
I did see him on the bike. But but the thing is, he didn't look disappointed or mad or injured. He didn't look anything. He was just like, whatever, not my day, I guess. CJ, hope you can do the job.
Yeah. I mean, the weird thing for me was Drew Brees. I think he just didn't look like himself. He had a very, he was off as being the most accurate quarterback ever, I think. He was pretty off.
He had some accuracy issues.
Yes, definitely. He had some Nick Foles issues. Michael Thomas, they played great defense on him. I didn't hear his name come up a whole lot.
They really,
Drew Brees really was, it felt like he was targeting, he was going, like Kamara looked like to be his go-to for the most part.
Yeah, the Rams,
right?
The Rams looked like they made a concerted effort. They got burned by Michael Thomas big time when they played earlier this year. They look like they made a concerted effort today we're going to get burned somewhere. It's not going to be by Michael Thomas. And yeah, I agree with you. Drew Brees threw some passes. He underthrew some passes. He did not look sharp today. And unfortunately, it has to be said, the other topic of conversation is the refereeing. And
wow,
really the glaring calls at the end of the game. I complained to no one in particular, but in my head, I complained on some calls really throughout the game, and specifically around pass interference. It seemed like they were really letting a lot of stuff go, and I think in one instance it kind of cost the Saints, because at the end of the game they get well into field goal range. They're trying to kind of run clock and still do something. The game's tied at 20, and they've got a play where it's very obvious pass interference. It would have given them first and goal at I want to say inside the 10.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would have been first down, and they were within scoring range. They
already were within scoring range, but this puts them where it's like a gimme, and now they can milk the rest of that clock. Instead, it ends up being called an incomplete pass. They kick the field goal, give the ball back to the Rams with a minute 45, I think it was, left in the game. And the Rams went down the field and got a field goal, tied it up, and then won it in overtime. Yeah,
I mean, that was the most obvious pass interference ever. But, the refs missed calls both ways, I think. I mean, yes, that one stands out the most, obviously, especially being so late in the game. But, I mean, the refs were bad both ways. I mean, from pass interference calls to face masks. Yeah. So, I mean, they played pretty poor, and I found it odd that right after the game, not too far after the game, Sean Payton comes out and says that he already talked to the league and they said they blew the call. I found that kind of odd that the NFL would admit such a thing.
I don't understand why the NFL even bothers to admit that they blew a call. Look, they're human beings. There's going to be calls missed on both sides.
We can tell they miss calls.
Yeah, I mean, with all the angles and replays and stuff. I mean, obviously we can see it. But I just don't see what does that do for the NFL? Like, what's the point of that? Like,
makes him look even worse.
Like, what's Sean Payton going to do? Like, when the next time he comes to negotiating his contract, he's going to go, look, I've got, 2 Super Bowl appearances. No, you don't. You only have 1. Well, but that 1 year against
the Rams,
they blew that call. We would have won that game. We'd have been in the Super Bowl. So,
and the owner says, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, here's an extra 10%.
But, so obviously the game goes into overtime, and Drew Brees throws up. I think he got hit on that one. Yeah. He got hit, and the Rams get the
ball back.
Get the interception, and I already forgot what the hell happened after that. I think they
go down the field and
right?
Yeah, and kick a field goal and win.
Sean Payton, I think, kind of messed up this game. I didn't watch, but I'm listening to the game, like the last few minutes of the fourth quarter when they have the ball, I think. Mm-hmm. And his play calling just kind of switched. It was being conservative from what it sounded like.
Yeah, well, and especially because he
found odd coming from him.
Yeah, he got to a point where he was in field goal range, and I think he wanted to run down the clock, and that pass interference play would have made that field goal a chip shot, right, and it would have given him a new set of downs, and he could have ran the clock out because the Rams had no timeouts or one timeout. And I think that really kind of, he did seem a little bit messed up. And there was a pass interference earlier as well that did not get called in favor of the Saints, and he just seemed like at that point he was completely out of sorts.
Yeah, it's like, haven't you learned from Pete Carroll? You know what I mean? Like, I just found it odd that he switched up his play call. Maybe he was so into that non-PI call that he forgot about what he really needed to do.
I mean,
right?
In overtime, he was still talking about the PI call. And it's unfortunate because they've had an exceptional season. Is there a fan base that is in more pain right now than the New Orleans fans? Remember last year they lost to Minnesota on that freaky play at the end of the game. Right. Where all they had to do was tackle him inbounds and they win the game. Instead, the guy misses the tackle and he scores a touchdown. They go from getting tied to losing.
Yeah, Yeah.
And now this year. I got to feel for them.
They might as well eat gumbo and go straight to sleep.
It's not going to be a happy 2 weeks for them.
No, not at all.
Certainly not Super Bowl Sunday. They're not going to enjoy Super Bowl
You know who
Sunday.
is happy are the Atlanta Falcons, because the Saints will not be playing in Atlanta in the Super Bowl with a chance to win.
The Falcons will be happy about
Yes.
that. Do you think the Falcons give a shit?
I'm sure. I'm sure they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do.
I'm sure they don't.
I wouldn't want a rival winning my stadium or my team stadium.
You're not even in it. Yeah, I don't really care. Somebody's got to win.
Right? Yeah, I know, but
somebody's gonna win.
Like, I wouldn't want, like, when the Super Bowl was at MetLife.
Yeah.
I mean, hell no, I don't want the Eagles. Much less playing the Super Bowl. I mean, playing the Super Bowl, much less winning it at MetLife. Yeah, absolutely.
What about the Redskins?
I don't mind. I love the Redskins.
What about the Cowboys?
I hate the Cowboys.
What if it was the Patriots and the Patriots and the Eagles in the Super Bowl?
Oh, room for Patriots all day.
At MetLife.
Oh yeah, Patriots all day. No love for the city of brotherly love.
My attitude is, if my team's not in it, I don't care who wins. It just makes no difference.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna care who wins this one.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying even in general.
Yeah.
And whether it's at my stadium or someplace else, whatever.
Why are you sleepy? You better have a good reason.
I am dog tired, bro.
Why? You act like you ran 26.2 miles today. Like, what the fuck?
As a matter of fact, I did. Well, there was a little stretch where I stopped.
You stopped?
And I had a sip of water. And
was it water?
Yeah, I did not. You know, they've got beer on the course. There's a bunch of little breweries that, you know, they're handing out samples. Right. And there have been times where I've partaken of some beer.
Have you?
Yeah. But today was not that day. I needed all of my faculties and resources about me to make sure I completed the task. So, yeah, as a matter of fact, I have run 26.2
Wow,
miles.
wild guess by me.
And I am fucking exhausted.
I am too. The spectators have to stand out there for hours in the cold.
And it was cold today.
It was fucking cold, bro.
It was cold. For the spectators that were out there from the jump, from 7 a.m., you got to be hard. Because that wind this morning was tough.
So we want to know, how do you feel? Because not even a year ago, probably a couple months from now will make a year that you had surgery,
right?
And I know it took you a while to really get into training, because I started seeing a pot belly and I was worried for a little bit, but it looks like you managed to control your eating habits and your vices. Yeah.
So, you know, just to kind of bring everybody up to speed. Today was the Houston Marathon.
Right.
And that's what I ran this morning. I had knee surgery back in May of last year, and it was the kind of surgery that had me on crutches for 5 weeks or 5.5 weeks or whatever it was. And yeah, I mean, I put on weight because I was miserable because I couldn't run and I was gimping around everywhere. So the last thing I was gonna do was watch what I eat. I'm like, fuck that, I'm gonna eat good.
And it went on for months.
And then when I got off the crutches. I was well into the habit of eating good and just kept eating good.
And then the holidays came around.
And so I kept eating good. And really the hardest thing for me has been I've struggled to gain the strength back in my right leg.
Right.
You know, it was my right knee that had surgery. And I've struggled to get the strength back. And so my training has not been great. And to be honest, my training going into this race today was not very good, and my plans right now are actually to not run another marathon this year and just focus on strength training, because I don't want to develop imbalance issues where, I mean, I already feel like my left leg does far more work than my right leg, and I don't want to develop issues on my left side, be it with my knee or my hip or whatever. Yeah. So I'm gonna likely shut it down in terms of marathons this year and just focus on strength training and getting strong again. But you know, that being said, I have struggled to get healthy, so to speak, to get strong. And I had no idea what was in store for me today. I had run 2 half marathons. I ran one in October, and I ran one on January 1st. And none of those results were spectacular. So I was certainly very concerned that I was going to have a rough day today. But I ended up having a pretty good day. It was really cold, which I like running in the cold. I think that's a positive for me. But it's just one of those things where, you just kind of... My saying sometimes is, not today, motherfucker. Yeah. It's just not... Today's not that day. Today's not the day that I'm going to quit. Today's not the day that I'm going to slow down. Today, I'm gonna fight through it. I'm going to concentrate, and I'm going to really give it all I've got. And it just worked out well for me today. I put in I really put in a monster effort for where my level of fitness is. And, quite frankly, I had a good week all week leading into the marathon. I tend to cut weight the week of the marathon, so I ate really well and, took all the little steps that I normally take the week of the marathon, and it went well. And then today, it's just one of those things when you just get in the groove and you just say, it's going to happen today. I'm going to push myself to a place that, I know I've been to before, and I'm going to push my body and push my mind into places that it can go, and I'm just going to
rock on.
I'm just going to rock.
Well, good. I'm glad you got to finish, and you did it under 4 hours.
Yep.
So
not by a lot.
No, but I mean, no. But I mean, it's got to be tough not training the way you normally do. I don't want to make it seem like you were slow, because I thought, I was looking at your pace on the phone on my phone, and it looked like you were doing a pretty good pace, being that you didn't train well. You had surgery less than a year ago, and I'm sure that your wife and maybe others, mom and dad maybe, were probably against you doing this race, maybe, or you maybe somewhere in your mind you had doubts at some point.
Yeah.
Should I not? And what you did was you ignored the negativity, you were the positivity, and you kind of just said, you went for it. You went for it on 4th down. You know what I mean? And you don't run to win the race, but you completed the race.
Yeah.
So I think,
thanks. That means a lot. And it's funny because, sometimes the negativity that you hear, it's even some of the most casual comments. Yeah. I made the comment to one of my friends, a very dear friend of mine, just kind of, we were joking around talking about stuff, and I was like, yeah, I've put on weight. And his comment was, yeah, you look fat. He ran with me on January 1st, and that was his comment. Right. And it was a joke, and I laughed too. Right. Like it didn't bother me. It didn't hurt my feelings. It's true, right? Not that I'm fat, but heavier than I'm heavier than I've been, for most of my life. And he's known me he and I have been friends for 8 or 9 years now. So yeah, this is the heaviest he's ever seen me. So yeah, to him, I look fat, right? And at the time of the joke, it was a joke, no big deal. But, sometimes when you have those moments by yourself, when you're out training and you're struggling, you're like, maybe I am fat.
Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
Right.
So, yeah, and, I didn't get a whole lot of negativity about don't do it. I did get a lot of precautionary tales, like my, especially mom and dad.
Yeah.
They're very worried about me re-injuring the knee. And, they periodically ask me, how's your knee doing? Yeah. Well, I'm fine, and the knee is attached to my legs. It's there. It's okay. It's just not that big a deal.
Right.
So yeah, it's tough, but again, it's the power of the mind, man.
Yeah.
When you focus and you think about, you just think about stuff differently on race day, and I've been blessed with the ability to kind of block out a lot of things and really, I try to, one of the sayings I picked up recently is, who has it better than us? Nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Who has it better than me? Nobody. And obviously that's not true. Other people have other people have things in their lives that are better than my life, right? They've got more money, they've got more people that love them, they've got more YouTube followers, they've got more, they're faster at races, whatever. But it's that feeling of you have to be grateful for what you have, And I mean, I was running today and I had headphones in, but I wasn't playing anything. I just didn't turn them on. It was too cold to take my gloves off later on to turn it on. But I had a hat over them, so they were snug in my ears, and I was real comfortable, so I didn't mess with it. And at one point, a guide comes up to me, comes running alongside of me, and he tells me, "Wheelchair on your right." And I didn't hear him, and I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "Wheelchair on your right." And there was a guy in a wheelchair behind him, so he was the guide. And I look down, the guy's got one leg and he's in a wheelchair and he's doing the marathon. Right. And it's like,
could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. I'm not in great shape, right. But I got both of my legs. How could I not give it all I've got?
Right. Yeah, you see things from both sides, right? There's other people that have it better than you, but there's also people that are less fortunate, right?
That's right.
So, you got to take the good with the bad. And really, honestly, this is what you do. It's no different than Tom Brady, than Peyton Manning, than whatever athlete that has played for 20 years in their sport. Yeah. It's what they do. It's what they love to do, right? Yeah. So, as our thing over there says, do it with passion or not at all. I mean, if you have the passion for it, fuck it, might as well do it.
And I've always said that, one of the blessings in life is just getting to the starting line, especially with marathons, because you can't run them every week, and it takes a lot of training, and sometimes you got nagging injuries. And at one point this week, I was like, I'm gonna make it to the starting line. Like I was walking around this week, and I kind of wanted to be in a bubble. Like I didn't want anyone to touch me. I didn't want to do anything. My son was like, "Hey, let's go out and play ball." I'm like, no, I don't want to go out and play ball. Because I just wanted to make it to the starting line, because back in May, I didn't know if I was going to or not, and certainly that was my goal, but I didn't know if I was going to, and it's a blessing just to make it to the line and to stand there in the cold, listen to the national anthem and wait to hear the gun go off, and all of a sudden the surge of people go,
yeah.
And next thing you know, you cross that starting line and your clock starts, and
it's go time.
It's go time, and it's what am I gonna make out of this, right? Yeah. What am I gonna do for the next 4 hours or 5 hours or 6 hours or 3 hours, whatever it is, right? What am I gonna make out of this? And I just told myself, look, it's a challenge, right?
Right.
To go out and run when you're not in the best shape, and I decided I would push it, and I would see what I could do, and I was blessed to be able to just focus and keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Congrats to you, because I probably, even if I put my mind to it and trained, I don't think I could do it. So props to you for completing your 1,000,000,000th 324,300,000 marathon.
No, not that many. I don't. It's kind of funny. I don't know what the actual.
You lost count.
Was. I don't know what the actual. I mean, I've got it somewhere on a spreadsheet. Yeah. I can pull it up, but I can't pull it up right now, but I can pull it up. It's 50 something. Today was my 24th Houston Marathon.
Holy shit!
In a row.
You know what I lost count of? What the hell happened between the Patriots and the Chiefs? and the Patriots and the Chiefs. I forgot who they played already.
You forgot who the two teams were.
Dude, that game
was nuts.
It took forever.
Well, the fourth quarter took forever. The game itself,
right? It was
the game was actually going pretty quickly.
It was 3 up, 3 down, right?
Right. That first quarter, and both teams were running the ball. It was moving, but then that fourth quarter came, and it just
from the 8-minute mark where we had the most controversial, non-controversy really, because Edelman didn't even touch the ball.
Right. Thumbgate.
Thumbgate. Yes, that's a good one. Thumbgate. Thumbgate happened, and it from there it took almost an hour. We
to finish the fourth quarter.
We did the math. It took about an hour.
Yeah, it took an hour.
What a great game, though.
Oh, that was. They scored. I think they scored all the points in the fourth quarter.
It seemed that way.
I mean, it was the final score was what, 37-31?
Right. Yeah, that's right.
37-31. And I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but wasn't it like?
I think you said they scored like 31 points in the fourth quarter.
38.
That could be right.
31 or 38 points in the fourth
A
quarter.
lot of points.
It was crazy. I mean, I think it was like 14-3 going into the fourth quarter.
And this game
It was great.
was very similar to the Saints and Rams in that there were some phantom calls. Calls that were not as many, but it felt like they were...
I only saw one that I thought was a phantom call. I thought there were a couple of missed calls, but they were kind of more judgment. The phantom call was the roughing the passer call.
Yeah.
That call was terrible.
And then on that same drive, there was another...
Brady.
Yes. That happened in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. So
within those 8
for
minutes.
those of you that missed within those 8 minutes. So for those of you that missed it, at some point he's getting pressure from the side. Guy goes to swipe at the ball and runs his hand right in front of Brady's face. And he does. His thumb grazes his face mask.
More thumb
gate. But barely enough to make, like, it didn't move Tom's head a whole lot. And they called roughing the passer. And look, if he'd have hit him on the head, he'd have knocked him silly, right?
Yeah, because he was
swinging hard. But the fact of the matter is he didn't. And...
Yeah.
You know, and it turned out to be a big play in the game. It was an incomplete pass, but instead, Patriots got a first down, got that drive going.
And on that same drive, there was another. What I can't remember what it was. We just finished watching the game. I can't remember.
It was nuts. There was so much happening in that game that if we went through all the points and counterpoints, we'd only hit 1 out of every 5. It seems like.
Well, there was another play on that same drive that seemed to prolong the Patriots' drive.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was probably a pass interference or some shit.
Or a catch. No, I think it was one of the catches. The
One
catch by Hogan.
Oh, that's right.
It looked like it hit the ground.
Right,
and
right.
like, no, it didn't. And I'm like, really? Because that really looked like it hit the ground.
What did you say? We need what? A grass cam?
Yeah, exactly.
After that game...
You need grass cam. Put a freaking camera on every blade of grass.
Seriously. I mean, why isn't there a...
Someday... The NFL, the fields will have sensors where they'll be able to feel if the ball touched.
To sense leather.
That's right. Leather as opposed to skin or rubber from the cleats or whatever.
Pigskin?
Yeah. It'll be a pigskin sensor. Say that fast 3 times.
Yeah, I probably can't.
You probably can't say it once.
Yeah, they need to have like a cameraman literally just laying down.
Laying on the ground.
Right?
Right, for all those times when the ball touched the ground or not.
I mean, and we say making a joke, but seriously, like there was some really close plays.
There was some really and
I think there was 2.
Yeah, and they had a big impact on the game, the result of the game. I mean, because again, they're going back and forth. It started when the Patriots scored with like 4 minutes left, and the Chiefs went down and scored real quick. But now there's only 2 minutes left. But that's plenty of time for Tom Brady. Tom Brady goes down and scores again, but there were 39 seconds.
Yeah.
We didn't think that was enough.
That's
Patrick
right.
Mahomes took him down the field actually took a shot at the end zone.
Yeah.
And then kicked the field goal to tie and went into overtime. But I mean...
Yeah, there was a lot happening there.
It was just the back and forth. My biggest takeaway from the game, and this is what I said going into the game. I think I said this on the podcast last week. I thought it would be unlikely that Patrick Mahomes would have a great game against the Patriots.
Yeah.
How many times does a young quarterback have a great game against a Bill Belichick defense? Not very often. And the fact that they've already seen him, I think, was a big advantage for them. They could modify their game plan to slow him down. And I don't know if it was the Patriots or if he was having an off day, but he had accuracy issues.
He did.
Much more so than Drew Brees. I think he barely threw 50%.
Well, because they were missed touchdowns. He had 2 that I can remember that were sure points.
There was one, I don't know if you recall this, but Travis Kelce is on the 10 with his arms up in the air celebrating the touchdown because he sees that guy going down the sideline by himself. He's not even looking, but he knows that Patrick Mahomes is going to throw it, and Patrick Mahomes overthrows it.
Yeah. Or that wheel route to Tyreek Hill.
I think that's the one I'm talking about.
Is that it? In the first half?
In the first half.
Okay.
Yeah, the wheel route.
Yeah. Well, I mean you're right because the Patriots got to Mahomes. I think they sacked him like 4 or 5 times
early, but then they kind of gave up on that.
Yeah, but he still has some pressure on him, you know.
it seemed
They
like
got close.
It seemed like they brought a lot more blitzing in the first half than they did in the second half. Not quite sure why they changed that scheme because it was working in the first half. And then in the second half, they didn't bring it, and he really carved up the defense a little bit more certainly more than he did in the first half. No. I tell you what, man, if you're Kansas City, I know it hurts to lose this game, especially going into overtime with the Patriots. But you got to feel good about next year. That's a young team with a lot of talent. They got who's the running back number 26?
Damian Williams.
He scored 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game for them last week.
He looked like a beast, for a team that lost
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem who lost Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
To all of a sudden you just plug in another young guy that's good. Obviously, we know about Mahomes. Kelsey's one of the best tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill. I mean, they've got a lot of weapons. I think the future is bright for them.
Yeah. I think they just need to work on their defense a little bit. Maybe their corners.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they have the future's bright for them, But it's just something about when you play Tom Brady and Bill Belichick that they're going to be one up on you, or maybe head and shoulders above you.
I mean, isn't it something that those guys continue to do the damn thing?
Yeah.
I mean, 13 AFC Championship games. This will be their 9th trip to the Super Bowl.
That's crazy.
Those are insane numbers.
Third straight Super Bowl.
Yeah, and their 3rd straight Super Bowl.
Wow.
It's incredible what those two have done. Is absolutely amazing. I don't know how we will ever unwind them. Right, I don't think we'll ever be able to say, well, Bill Belichick was good because he had the best quarterback ever. And, we won't be able to say the other way, right? Like, Tom Brady's great because he's got the best coach ever. Yeah. It's hard to say, which came first, the chicken or the egg, but I tend to think...
Well, Belichick came first. He's older.
I tend to think it's Brady because Belichick had a stint without Brady, and he was awful and got fired.
Yeah.
Quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. They're both, I don't know.
Legends. Living legends.
They really are.
Living legends.
Boston is so lucky to have them.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. We heard this during the broadcast, right? One of the Patriot assistants is likely to be hired by Miami once the season is over.
Flores.
He will be the 26th head coach that the Bills, Dolphins, and Jets have had in the same period of time that the Patriots have had one. A man by the name of Bill Belichick. I mean, that's nuts.
Insane.
That's crazy. The 3 teams are averaging 9 coaches over the same time span that this organization has one.
And I really don't want to hear anymore, and I won't say it anymore. From the coaching tree of Bill Belichick, because guess what? It doesn't equate to what Bill Belichick has done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Really.
Some of those guys are terrible as head coaches. Mike Patricia this year, I thought was terrible.
His first year, I thought he was going to get fired.
He probably should. Josh McDaniel in Denver, terrible.
Yeah. He made the smart decision to not accept that Titans job a couple of years ago. Indianapolis, that's right. I'm sorry. The Colts. And came back. He said, "You know what? I can't beat Belichick."
He was ready to go to Indianapolis, and then I think he got the call from Belichick. And I'm going to try to do it in Bill Belichick voice. Yeah, Josh, you're not good.
Hey, Josh, do you really think you can beat me?
You're not a good coach, but you do a lot of things well. But
yeah, I mean, I'm jealous at what
we're impressed with what you do with us here, but at the end of the day, you're just not a very good coach. So why don't you come back and be my offensive coordinator?
Sold.
Yeah,
he came back,
and Josh McDaniel went, "Oh yeah, I do suck as a coach."
You're right, Dad.
Yeah. Now I'm coming home.
So I mean, that was they really treated us to 2 good games.
Yeah.
Right? Both AFC and NFC Championship games, they were really good. But who the hell wins this Super Bowl?
I have no idea. But look,
we got the young versus the old.
But we can't preview the Super Bowl yet.
Why not?
Because it's in 2 weeks. And the real big game is before that. So
so we should preview that.
So what we should do is let's go ahead and preview the Pro Bowl.
The Pro Bowl.
Does anybody watch the Pro Bowl?
I mean, look. Unless you're just flooded with money to spend just because and you want to maybe, I don't know, place a wager. Seriously, that's really the only reason.
Do people actually bet on the Pro Bowl?
I mean, it's there.
How much of a degenerate do you have to be?
There's no way in hell I bet on the Pro Bowl, an All-Star game, nothing.
That's just insane.
Yeah. You just bet the over. I know that much.
Whatever the number is, it's going over.
Yes, it's going over. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's, it's terrible. Terrible.
All right, so you guys got to...
Frankly, I don't even know why they do it.
So you guys got to tune in now because we're not going to give you our Super Bowl picks. So you guys have to tune in.
Next week.
You probably know who I'm leaning with. Or do you? You probably don't know. You probably know who he's leaning with. Ed. No, you probably don't. So you got to tune in.
In the meantime, go ahead and send us your predictions. You can email the show at positivesports10@gmail.com. Positivesports10@gmail.com. You can reach Alex and send them to Alex. Can they? On Twitter?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Just find someone with the Twitter handle Brooklyn Gaucho, regardless of what number it is, and just send it to them.
Send it to
Chances are it'll get to Alex eventually.
I'll respond back too.
That's right. And if you want to get a hold of me and share your picks with me, your Pro Bowl picks, because I am a degenerate gambler, I'm going to bet on the game. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God.
Just joking. You can reach me on Twitter at eMontana21. I would never bet on that.
I can't.
The skills competition I might watch.
Yeah, those are fun. But even those have like really died down throughout the years. I'll bet on that.
They just
like for the accuracy contest, I'm picking Drew Brees.
Oh yeah,
he's available now
for sure. Yeah, he's probably gonna be in it. And Drew Brees actually goes
he does.
I mean, he's not one of those old guys that's like, nah, I'm gonna go on vacation with my family. Like, I don't need the free trip to Hawaii. I've got my own cash.
Yeah.
Now Patrick Mahomes, he's not making that kind of coin, so he's going. He's taking the free trip to Hawaii.
He will be though. According to reports, he's gonna be making $200 million.
Hey, speaking of $200 million, I wasn't gonna touch on this, but when are they going to fucking finish free agency with baseball? What is going on? It's January 20th. It is they're like 3 weeks away from reporting pitchers and catchers to spring training.
I think 26 days.
26 days. And Manny Machado, one of the hottest free agent prospects in a while, and Bryce Harper, who has been the prodigal son for years, the guy who's going to transform baseball, and not a peep. And not even not a peep. It's not like you're not hearing. Usually, when free agency gets prolonged like this, it's because they're playing one team against another, and you hear reports and this and that, and they offer this and they offer that.
Ed, there's so many mystery teams out there, bro. It's the mystery.
You don't hear shit on these two.
Yeah, I don't understand, but real quick, I understand your point and I agree with that, but I kind of don't mind it. I don't mind it because it's kept baseball in the talk. I follow it. I mean, I know right now it's just a bunch of he say, she say stuff, but you know what? It keeps me glued to every day. I get on Twitter and see what the hell's going on. And
I don't mind it. Just from a logistics perspective for coaches and managers, I'm wondering what is taking so long.
Yeah, because in basketball, free agency is July 1st. And then at midnight, you're already hearing,
Well, you're hearing it a few days before that.
Yeah, that too.
Like on January 28th, they're like, well, when free agency opens on July 1st, this dude's going to sign with this team, right?
And it actually
and it happens.
Right.
And it happens. They all become official on July 1st.
Yeah,
this one has been really strange.
It has been.
Do you think it says anything about teams and their thoughts on how these guys work in a clubhouse? Because from a talent perspective and from a marketing perspective, there's no question, right? Every team wants these guys.
Right.
I mean, they're extremely talented. They're extremely marketable. You know, Harper just won the home run derby, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, from a business standpoint, I don't feel like it's that complicated, right? Especially in a sport with no real salary cap, right? You just do the deal.
Yeah.
Is it something else? You know, is it managers not? My theory has been that it's teams are very hesitant to upset the balance of clubhouse chemistry, whatever that is. That's been my theory, but I don't know. It just seems very, very bizarre to me.
I think there's only one team out there that is willing to go 300 or more on either of these two guys. I think the other teams, or the few teams that are in play for these two guys, are not willing to go that high, so they're hesitant to give an offer. And so the team that I'm talking about is the Phillies. I think they're waiting to see what the other's true offer is and just waiting to pounce on it. You know, like they probably feel, you know, I mean, they have the stupid money. So
yeah, but they're not the only ones.
No, but that's what I'm saying. These other teams, aside from the Phillies, are not willing to go 300, right? So they're just gonna. It's
so
like
you think the Phillies are waiting,
yeah,
to hear what the offers are and then come in with an extra $100 and call it done.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe.
We're not talking about $100. We're talking about 100 million more. You know, probably.
Well, yeah, no, they're not gonna go that much over. They'll sweeten the pot and throw in an extra 30 million, but not 100.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I know, but what I mean is, you know, that they can top any offer that the other ball clubs have to offer. So
crazy. I'm shocked.
It's really taking forever. Kind of like the Patriots Chiefs game.
Yes,
that's taking forever.
That took forever.
They're probably still playing.
No, it's over.
No, it's over. Okay.
It's over. That's
all
it.
Right.
That's it. You got anything else?
No, that's it, man. I think
episode 59.
Oh.
Can you think of a 59?
No.
I can't think of one.
You
know, every time we do this, we're going to get bombarded.
It's got to be a football player, but I can't think of one.
Yeah? I can't think of one either.
59. Let us know your favorite 59 if you have one. Help us out, because I have no clue.
It usually happens whenever when we don't pick a good one or one that's not quite famous enough.
Or as soon as we hang up.
Yeah.
You know?
They'll be like, oh, yeah.
All right, well.
Quick update on your car?
We have... If you haven't checked out the Bullshit Podcast number 58, you'll know exactly what he's talking about. Our scam episode.
How to catch a scammer.
How to catch a scammer. It's still on the market, so let me know if you wanna.
2015 Audi. Check it out on eBay.
That's right. No, still have the car. No, okay. no more scammers have alerted me.
I've reached out to you.
No more.
You know, I tried to call that guy again the next day.
Did you? What an answer. I wonder why. Huh.
I can't imagine. Huh. He's probably still waiting for those Amazon gift cards.
Yeah. Keep waiting, guy.
Jeez. If you have not encountered scammers when you're trying to sell something or whatever, listen to that episode. It's hilarious.
It's pretty good.
It's crazy. It's crazy is what it is.
Yeah, really?
Hilarious is not quite the right word. It's
I agree.
Crazy. All right, man. You got a shout out?
My shout out goes to the Clemson Tigers football team. Not only did they win the national championship, they have a digestive system made of steel, having to endure all those 100 pounds of Big Macs.
That looked pretty good, actually.
I mean, come on. Give these guys something better to eat.
It's a big deal. They got something to eat.
My real shout out goes to Neymar, your favorite. Neymar. The soccer player that plays for who? Who does he play for? I don't know who he plays for.
PSG.
PSG. Paul St. John.
Paris Saint-Germain.
Oh, man, I was pretty close.
No, yeah, right on.
Damn it.
Just missed it.
My shout out goes to him, not because he's been flopping still from the World Cup, but because he was on the field this past week or last week. And there was a fan that ran onto the field. And the cops hemmed up this fan. They were ready to lock him up. But Neymar said, "Hold up.
He's a fan.
Let me take a selfie with this guy." He took a selfie with the guy and there was cops. There was police around them, right? Obviously protecting Neymar. But, Neymar actually, he walked like 15 yards and said, hold up. Took the selfie with the fan. And the police escorted the fan and probably arrested him or whatever.
I wonder if it was worth it for the fan.
I'm sure it was. I mean, how much jail time could you get for that?
I don't know.
So my props goes to him because I don't remember ever seeing an athlete do that.
Yeah.
And personally, you know what? If the guy is not there to harm, if he's just there to take a selfie, take a little easier on the fans. The fans need to be fans and stay in the stands. But you know what? It doesn't happen often. Let it slide. Shout out to you, Neymar.
I mean, I kind of agree with you, but fans can be just knucking futs, man.
No, yeah, I agree. That's why I said fans need to be fans and stay in the stands. But
remember Monica Seles?
Yeah, but I mean,
that fan just kind of climbed over and during a changeover and stabbed her. It's just you just don't know what fans are gonna do.
No, yeah, I know, but
look, I'm not arguing that you shouldn't.
Right.
I thought it was cool that he did it too, but I also understand why athletes are like, stay the hell away, because you just never know.
So that's how cool Neymar is. He's a gangster, man. He said, you know what? Let me take a selfie. This guy's not gonna do nothing. So
crazy. My shout out goes to the entire city of Houston. I love this place. It goes out to everyone on the Houston Marathon Committee. The event that they put on is first class, top notch, awesome. My shout out goes out to all the participants today. 20 some odd thousand people that either ran the half marathon or the marathon. Not to mention yesterday, a bunch of people ran the 5K. My hats off go out to all the spectators that were out there holding signs. I love reading the signs.
Thank you.
It's a world-class event in a city that doesn't get that much recognition as being world-class, but it truly is. It is fantastic. It was a fantastic event. A really cold day today that was tough on fans and runners alike, but and the organization and everything. It is absolutely top notch. I mean, I can't say it enough. It's not just because it's my hometown marathon. I've run a lot of marathons around the world, and I've been through some big ones, some small ones, and the organizations are always great, and the fans are great. But what we have here is something so special. How they pull it off without a hitch is just incredible to me. Security is top notch. It's a fantastic weekend. So my shout out goes to everything involved with the city of Houston this weekend. It was phenomenal. I loved it.
That same spider was here last episode, and I noticed it, and it's here again. I think he wants to be part of this podcast.
Does the podcast have its own mascot? The Positive Sports Podcast Spider.
Oh, we may have a mascot in the making.
Maybe.
He's too small to be a mascot.
Yeah, he really is.
We need a Texas-sized spider.
Some of those fuckers get pretty big.
Yeah. All right.
Alrighty, man. Well, as always, folks, we appreciate your interaction. We appreciate you listening and watching the show. And as I always say, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.